Hello and welcome back. My name is Ray. I am the CEO and developer of Soulducate LLC and the owner of Soulducate Sanctuary Candle Co. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the lightworker journey to manifestation and when they get looped in to manifesting with a false light, essentially a karmic partner. So if this is something that sounds interesting to you, then stick around. So let's just jump right in. First off, I want to give a disclaimer. If you are in an abusive relationship or if your partner is repetitively cheating on you, that is not a divine ordained counterpart. That is not a divine counterpart whatsoever. I would like to say that when you come into union with your divine counterpart, neither one of these entities are going to have intimate eyes for others. It just can't happen, because when you actually come online to realizing your own soul essence, you recognize that part of your soul essence within your divine counterpart. So there's really nothing other than unconditional and complete love for each other. So if you are having the abuse, the cheating, the toxicity, and you're still watching these videos trying to think that you can maybe change your partner, it's not going to happen. You need to walk away from the situation and heal yourself so you can magnetize what is destined for you. So something about this title drew you in. I don't know if it was lightworker, manifesting, karmic, trap, I don't know. But either way, they all go hand in hand for this topic of discussion, because this topic is the number one thing that kept me stuck. It kept me stuck within my ascension journey, and it was essentially beginning to pull me backwards, which is why what ended up happening in my life had to happen. It was actually forced beyond human control in every sense. So I would like to start off by saying that manifesting is the ability we all have. You can take any two people, and those two people can together sit and manifest one thing, and it will happen. It's the energy. It's what we're designed to do. It's our divine inheritance. It's everyone's ability to manifest. So you can manifest with anyone. And if you're a normal, everyday person, those manifestations can be sustainable with each other, going day to day, living throughout time and taking action steps towards greater abundance or whatever it is that each party's wanting to manifest. But if you are a light worker, if you are a chosen one, you're not a normal everyday person. So therefore, you will not be able to sustain those manifestations with somebody other than yourself or somebody other than your divine counterpart. The whole point of manifestation and the whole end game of manifestation is that the person has learned to actually believe that they're worthy of receiving that of which they desire. So if you have two people that know that they're worthy of receiving what they desire, then that will happen. But in the case of the lightworker experience, if I can call it that, you almost want to call it a shit show, but it's an experience. It's things that we all have to go through to learn to elevate our consciousness. So what happens is when a light worker initially finds somebody, a light worker is an extreme empath. So you're guided strictly by emotions for the most part, because your end goal of humanity is unconditional love and love for others, and you're going to be raising that bar of human consciousness for humanity at some point in time. So, given that, to get through any sort of conditioning through childhood or traumatic wounds that we suffered through time, we will end up magnetizing and attracting those energies that will either A, mirror back to us our wounds, or B, they will be succubuses of our own energy. What I would like to tell you, Divine Feminines, is that if you are indeed doing the work, and let's say you have a partner that is not resonating with your work, if you're doing the work, you do have a divine counterpart out there that is having the same experiences. They are having the same awakenings at the same time. No, they don't know what the fuck's going on because they are not looped into that realm. They're not looped into that mindset just quite yet. Per the usual, I really enjoy breaking my videos down into parts. So I want to break this one down into 4 parts. And we're going to start out with the how it starts. We're going to move into the what's actually happening. And then we're going to move into what ends up happening. And then we're going to talk about the purpose. So very much, and in intertwined, I would like to discuss a little bit of my story because I never, ever, ever speak upon anything that I have not experienced myself, which is why I think I have experienced so many things revolved around emotions and love and healing and all of that jazz. Although I've been on this spiritual elevation journey for 6 years now, my experience with learning that my divine purpose in life was to teach about love started in 2019. Strong in 2020, moving on into 2022 is really when things started to solidify that my life was going to be shifting. I'm just giving you these timelines in case they also resonate with your experience, because just as Mother Earth and the universal planetary alignments are shifting and recoding and regenerating, so are we. And these are the years where things have really come into being more crystalline, less carbon-based. So our systems are opening up further for these divine downloads and light codes. This may be a little beyond your expertise at this point in your journey, but that is just a little brief, tiny description of what's happening. Okay, so let's get into talking about the good stuff. How do things start out when you're in the karmic trap? It's this beginning phase that really gets people stuck on the whole surface level definition, society definition of twin flame, soulmate, yada, yada, yada. These labelings are created to almost, in a sense, take over our mind. But the divine journey is not of the mind, it's of the heart. So how does this karmic trap relationship start out? It starts out very lustful. So the sexual chemistry is going to be high. Everything's going to be intense. So that lust has to be there because for whatever reason, you signed up to have an experience with this karmic. This karmic is going to ultimately be your culprit to choosing self, to choosing self-love. So you have to be, you have to want them badly in a generalized sexually, because that's what's going to attach your ego to them. Right off the bat with this karmic partner, it's just human nature. When we are lustful, we think we're in love and we start talking about future plans, future desires, things we want to do together, places we want to go, where we want to build a house. Like, it's quick. We want to talk about having kids or not having kids, all the jazz, all the white picket fence shit that we are given through our upbringing and how we're supposed to pinpoint what things are supposed to look like as we grow older. I'm going to move quickly through this how it starts part because we all know how it starts. We see it's the fairy tale. This lust triggers this love feeling, this desire, this we can do anything together. And there's a reason for that, and you're going to find out later on in the other parts we have coming up. But all you know is that it feels good. And all you know is that this person that's with you is feeling good too. And they are essentially on board with all of your desires too. So what is actually happening here? Now, again, I want to remind you, lightworkers, you're living a different existence. You cannot classify yourself as a normal everyday person. you should probably just wake up every day and remind yourself, I'm not a normal everyday person. You're going to be fighting unseen battles. You're going to be fighting off unseen realms that others will not understand. You are not a normal everyday person. So this karmic that you attracted is essentially a very dark entity that has come into your life to make you wake up. And the only way that you're able to wake up is if you start flowing more within your heart space and less from your mental egoic state. So what is happening here? So the false counterpart, they're using the energy of the light worker, the chosen one. They are siphoning that energy. So as in the first part, how it starts, everything's going really good. Y'all are manifesting things together. Houses, trips, concerts, money's flowing in like crazy. This was my experience. There were no defaults. Things were happening I perceived as divinely guided because it was all just great and abundant. So I was like, this is it. I called it in. I called in my twin flame, my soulmate, whatever that may be in your eyes. But what's happening is this other person, they don't have the ability to do this on their own. They had to seek out somebody, and whether they did it intentionally or unintentionally, a lot of them are doing it unintentionally because they will be magnetized towards you as well, because they also signed a contract to come to Earth to be this person, to play this role in your life. They were here for a small time, not a long time, but a lot of us lengthen out that contract way beyond the time it was supposed to, and we get ourselves further and further stuck in more karmic drama and karmic situations that we have to dig ourselves out of. And when this starts to kind of fizzle out, when this whole abundant phase kind of starts to fizzle out, the light worker is left with why? Because you were in love. You were certain that this was the right person for you. You were certain your feelings were being felt and they were real. And what happened? Everything just kind of started getting a little weird. For me, as soon as we got married, things shifted. It was almost like my partner didn't feel like they had to try anymore. Like they were literally just putting on a skit or playing a role in a movie until the end. And then you could break and go back to the same lifestyle patterns you were living before, personality traits. I gotta give it to him. You know, he had staying power for 3 years before he was able to zap back into the personality traits in the state that he was before. And I'm not saying that these karmics are bad people, but they're not good people for light workers. They can be very deceptive, very manipulative, very orchestrative to get their way on things. They can make you be perceived as something you're not in the eyes of other people. So it will start to kind of even break down a support system for you. But this, again, is all an experience that has to happen to get you to follow your true north, your heart space. You're being guided, and you have to trust and have faith that everything is happening for you, not to you. So when you start feeling the confusion of, I was in love, like, where did this love go? I thought this person was it. What happened is that karmic partner, the lust that they had, it's not love. What it is it's an over extreme joy for the three-dimensional materialistic items. All the fun stuff that we play with, that we buy, that we hold, that we drive in, that we live in, like all of these things, all these materialistic things that are manifested between the energies that are even at a karmic level, that's what that other person is joyous over. These karmics love to look good. They love to make people think that they are happy and joyous, but really they can kind of be very sneaky and snaky, busybodies all over the place. They want to know what's going on in other people's lives, and they will talk about it. They will actually get intertwined in other people's lives and experiences, so much so that they will pull themselves away from their own life and what's going on within their own aspects, because this is boring now to them. It's not exciting. Like, actual love won't be exciting for these people because they need toxicity, they need drama, they need something that keeps them stimulated. And when you have a light worker partner that's of the heart space and of soul level alignment, that's what they're heading into, this other person cannot no longer resonate with that energy because they don't get it, they don't understand it. It's not their fault, it's just not what it's not what they come here to do. So let's move in right into what ends up happening. So what ends up happening? Because you're just kind of left with, what the hell? Like, am I crazy? Because if I would have known that things were going to look like this when I first started out in the beginning, I would have never even stepped foot through that door that led to that person. And no, we wouldn't have. And never go back. Never, ever, ever go back. So what ends up happening is that this karmic has siphoned so much of that energy from the light worker that the light worker gets depleted. You get depleted, you get burnout. You start to notice that you're having to work harder to sustain those manifestations that originally came so effortlessly. So what that means is they were not manifested at a soul level. They were manifested at the ego mind, the materialistic level of existence. And in true fashion, if one cup is empty, so essentially your karmic partner was just soaking you up. You were pouring into them. They were probably pouring out to other people, and then you're pouring into them a little more, and they're never pouring back into you at all. So you're just like teetering here and teetering there until you're empty. You're done. And when you're done, you have no more energy to give to this person. They have to go find it from somewhere else. So whether these are children, parents, new friends, they're gonna go find it from somewhere else. So don't feel bad about not being able to give anymore. The one you need to be giving to is yourself. If you're unsure about your stance with this karmic partner and you're still confused on if they're a karmic partner or if they're maybe a soulmate that's going through a transition themselves, one thing you can do is you can start filling yourself up. You can start filling your own cup. And if this is actually your destined partner that you're supposed to be with, they will be magnetized to that. They will see how you're filling your own cup. They'll start filling their own cup. And then together you both will have full cups. But as long as somebody is not that divine counterpart, they're not going to get it. They're just dead to the essence of soul elevation and self-love and self-worth and being able to really accumulate things on their own. So in true essence, we cannot love anything any more than we love ourselves. So if your partner has low self-worth and they don't love themselves, if they're lazy, if they're not eating the right foods, which, I mean, we all like to eat junk food every once in a while, but let's say they're over consuming toxicities of any type, that is not self-love. They're not going to be able to love you any more than they love themselves. You don't have to sit around asking yourself why. Why is because you need to wake up. Really, you need to get on your path, and this person needs to just go live their own experience with their own desires and their own ways of being, because really a person can try, but if they're not meant to be in a space they're not meant to be in, trying will only last for so long and it will just waste time. It is so easy to get caught up in the stereotypical aspect of twin flame, soulmate, because we're told the story. We're told the story our entire life of what it's supposed to look like. Our soulmate. Everything's wonderful. Everything's blissful. And you do have a soulmate. You have a divine counterpart. But first you have to get through the tricksters. And that's just all going to help you learn your own discernment. And this is where we go into the next one of the purpose. So the whole purpose is discernment, consciousness, intuition. When it comes to discernment, you are stepping into knowing what feels good and what don't feel good. Because for so long, you spent time doing and maneuvering in ways that you thought you were supposed to. You didn't move in ways that were feeling good. And honestly, if you were to sit down and think about your past actions, a lot of the things you did would have been things you would have done on your own. They were things that you did because somebody else expected them, or you thought that would appease somebody else at the time. So as we move through this journey, we cannot be of our highest state of enlightenment if we don't trust our own intuition. And really, when you go back and think about a lot of the things that you did or you looped into, they were total disrespect of self. I don't know how many times I did things or I listened to empty promises that I knew, like I felt when I was told them, they were empty. They weren't going to happen. So many illusions and lies to get me to a state, to a place where I could be molded and manipulated and just kind of like used. Really, it was just used. Now, my past partner, he said, I didn't use you. And it might not have been his intention, but he really did. And not only did I get used, but even after that person removed themselves, which I totally believe it was divine intervention. A lot of odd things happen. But even after that person removed themselves, they continued to do things to make my life difficult. It wasn't easy. I fought so many battles to get myself ejected, pulled out from that situation, which is bizarre because if a person removes themselves, they should be gladly helping to just make the situation as quick as possible to be detached 100%. My situation was hard. It was complicated. It was rough, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It was completely unpredictable. And by the way that this person formed themselves in the eyes of others, if I was to actually tell the truths of things and the oddities of things that happened, it would almost be unbelievable. It was unbelievable to me because of how I had formed this person within my psyche or in my heart space. You see, you can't fly too much higher than your karmic partner because it will start to make them look inadequate. It's like people will see you doing things and getting the ball rolling on things. Your name's all over the place. And then others start being like, well, what are you doing? So their inadequacy, that self-worth, all that stuff starts kicking into high gear and they go into fight or flight mode. Sometimes that fight or flight mode can be extreme and sometimes it can be very just dormant. They could go from being someone who loved doing things and going places to somebody that just makes it difficult to want to go places and do things. And that's all done on purpose because they have to stay the center of attention. There's no room for anybody else to be getting any sort of attention. So in the end, it's up to you to decide whether you're going to follow your heart or stay looped into this society standard movie that you've created in your life. And if you choose to stay there, things will just keep getting worse. I would have never have left my last situation. I thank God every day that he pulled through and removed it and pushed me away. I never chase, never, ever chase. Don't chase nobody. They're not worth it. If they don't know your value from the start, they're not worth it. If you are somebody that's coming in authentic with pure love intentions, you should be receiving that back. So you're going to have to stop with the struggles. On the lightworker journey, you're waking up. And I think I mentioned in the beginning that if a divine feminine is waking up, she has a divine masculine that's waking up also. And even if you have a twin flame that's not incarnate on earth, if you have a twin flame guiding you in the 5D aspect, that masculine twin flame energy is going to send you a divine counterpart on earth. Not everybody is designed to have a divine counterpart on earth. Some are just sent here to do the journey alone. I myself, I already know that I'm destined for a divine counterpart. I feel it in all of me. And in fact, I said that to my last partner. I'm like, I feel something pulling at me. I feel it, you know, and at the time I thought it was him, but I was still illusioned and confused, and I kept harping on this vessel of a person. And he said, it's not me. And that's all I had to hear. And I'm grateful for that. Even though it was hurtful and painful at the time, I am forever grateful of that. I feel so sorry for those that have these karmic partners that are extremely, extremely manipulative and self-centered. Because one thing I can say about my karmic partner is that there had to be a little something of a love base in there for them to be able to know that they don't belong there. Because I showed up 100%. I did what I needed to do. I was loyal and compassionate and kind, and even though things were getting so frustrating, I still was going to continue. I still would have continued on the path of putting more love and everything into this person, which in the end, you can't do that as a light worker. You have to put that into yourself, and you have to make yourself magnetic for the one that is going to pour into you also, so you guys can just keep pouring into each other. And that's how you build that divine manifestation. Manifestations with a divine counterpart are different than manifestations with a karmic partner. The manifestations with a karmic partner are going to be strictly materialistic, of an egoic mindset. When you start manifesting with a divine partner, it's different. You can build fucking kingdoms, because the whole purpose behind building this kingdom is going to be so you can have harvest, abundance, so you can provide elevation and awakening and enlightenment for other people, so other people can come to you and help, because humanity needs it. When I think back to last summer, I was so fucked up. I was emotionally depleted. It was horrible. It was dark. It was dingy. And there weren't a lot of things available for me to turn to. I was alone. It was a very lonely process, but that's okay. That was my experience, because it taught me how to tap into source. There were so many times I had to reach out to source. God, angels, universe, is this happening right now? There was that time we were standing in the courthouse filing our divorce papers. And I was like, God, is this happening right now? God, angels, universe, is this happening right now? This is not what's supposed to happen. And what I heard back was, you're going to feel through all of this. What? So that meant I'm right where I need to be. With as shitty as this is, with as painful as this is, I'm right where I need to be. I went home, I bawled for I don't even know how long. And why I did it, I was calling on angels and guides to help me. All right, so I am so sorry about that. You're probably going to notice that I went from day to night within a frame. But when I was filming earlier, I got interrupted and I had to break away. So now I'm back to finish everything up. So as I was saying, I went and had my emotional purge, and I called on my angels and guides, and they always show up. You don't have to be technical on the ways you call in your divine counsel. They're always around, and their job is to help. That's the contract that they serve. Once they have gone up to the heavens, they are your spirit guide, and it is their job to protect and serve you within your guidance and your ascension journey. They're here for it. So call on them. It doesn't have to be technical. There's no right or wrong way. You can literally just say, Divine Counsel, please come through. I'm struggling. I need your help. I'm struggling. It's that simple. Literally state what you need help with. Literally state what your emotional upset is. And once you do that, even the act of you doing that and sitting with it, it's going to make you more aware. And then from your connection to your divine counsel, they're going to help you rearrange those emotions and transmute them. There were so many times that I was just bawling, like bawling, crying out, needing guidance, needing assistance. And within a couple of seconds, it just stopped. Like I would go from to, oh, I'm good. And it sounds psychotic. I know it does. But that was in fact how quickly that divine intervention, that divine guidance worked. Because at that moment, I went from bawling and crying because I was in victim mode to being liberated and elevated into knowing my power and my worth. And that's what it's all about. That's what our Divine Counsel helps us with whenever we ask. To cap this video off, I would just like to say that always, always remember that this is an experience of one. Even if you're perceiving it as a twin flame experience, it's still an experience of one. If you have a twin flame divine counterpart, then you know that that person shares the same soul blueprint with you. It's still one soul. So it's still one way of elevation. Divine feminine, you are the powerhouse. You are the source. Your divine masculine is the earth realm foundation, that grounded foundation. But you yourself have divine masculine energy in you, and that divine masculine energy within you is the divine masculine energy that is intertwined within your masculine vessel. So when you start really enhancing that masculinity within yourself and knowing how to maneuver the feminine in with it to make them blend and flow together, that will also take place in the 3D. When you're doing work with the divine feminine masculine, don't visualize a physical vessel. You want to visualize your highest self. What do you look like in your highest elevation? This could be anything. If you think you look like an Egyptian queen, then you look like an Egyptian queen. Visualize yourself as that Egyptian queen and visualize your masculine as what you think he should look like. Some master warrior or king himself. Visualize those, because in the 5D, you're already together. You're already married. Because in our 5-dimensional essence, we don't have this earthly realm conditioning and all these blocks and all these needs. We don't have the suffering or the conflict or the contemplating. We have a knowing. So when the divine feminine starts really stepping into her power, that knowing will resonate within both energies. Whatever you do, hold the faith and always call out to your divine counsel. If it's 2 things you do, is to trust that your highest desire is waiting for you, and to utilize your angels and guides. Remember, there's no technical way to do that. There's no special requirement. Just do it. And you will see and feel the magic happen all around you. All right. Well, I hope this video helped whoever it needed to help. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And until next time, have a good one. Bye.